Hello everyone, my name is Denise. I'm a Catholic counselor, and today I'll be talking on the topic limerence versus true love. Okay, so I took a short break. Usually I would post a video every 2 weeks, but the reason why I took a break is that I finally gave birth to my second son, and I'm still alive. My son is doing well, so okay, that's enough of an update. So I'm just going to go right back into this topic. Okay, this topic it's been brewing in my head for a long time. I've been gathering data by watching many different podcasts, what other psychologists have to say about it. So today, I think I'm ready to give a shot at it. Okay, so limerence is like you can Google the technical definition. So this is Denise's definition. It's like the feeling you get when you feel like you're very intensely attracted to and you really love that person so much. Usually in a romantic way, it's either you must get this guy or this woman and there's no one else, and no one else can so-called hit the spot as well as this one person. You are stuck with this person and you are perpetually idealizing this person. This is actually a normal phenomenon when at the beginning of any relationship to idealize the person that you have fallen in love with. But limerence is more serious than that, and it can last for many years. Okay, so today's topic, limerence versus true love. Let's talk about limerence first. So okay, there's this quite a good podcaster called I don't know what's her real name, but her YouTube channel is called The Crappy Childhood Fairy, who her specialization is to talk about limerence, and the way she talks about it is in a pathological way. And she says that limerence is a result of complex trauma, of the not having having some attachment wounds, like not having a good attachment figure when you are young, hence leading to increased propensity to develop like hero worship or limerence when you grow up into an adult. So she pathologizes it, and she has a treatment plan on how to cure yourself of limerence, because it's a bad thing, okay? And I sort of like her content, but like all the other YouTube podcasters, including me, you should always take it with them with a grain of salt and listen to them critically. So I don't agree 100% with everything she says. Sometimes I feel that she can be too harsh, like she always promotes no contact and all that, so she sort of misses out the more positive aspects of limerence, and she tends to pathologize it in herself and in others as well. It's like like sometimes she might even conflate it with something else like love addiction, but it may not really be the case. And so maybe by the end of today's video, you might understand more of what I'm trying to get at. Okay, there's this other podcaster that I quite like called JP, Jordan Peterson. I hesitate to say his name, because every time I do, somehow it like rings a bell on YouTube, and then my content gets restricted for a while. But never mind, I did get this from listening to him, so I need to quote it. I give credit where credit is due. So for him, limerence is actually a brief look of what the person truly is when he's fully actualized, when he's fully become what God has intended him to be. So when we're in love, we get a short moment of glimpse of what that person could be like when he's fully actualized. Okay, maybe in Catholic terms, when he's fully become a saint, or like I say, when Denise is fully good. Not fully good, that is not complete. Okay, fully complete, as she ought to be, the form of her that's fully alive, that God has intended her to be. So in a moment of limerence, you're going to be able to see your partner or the person you're in love with that kind of clarity, like, oh gosh, this person is fabulous and fantastic. Okay, so you get a very high level of respect and almost like a worship-like quality towards that person, which is beautiful and very profound. Okay, but is it good? Okay, if you use a cognitive behavior therapy kind of model, it's not so good, because firstly, CBT, you want to ground a person in reality. Not only do you want to be able to accept the good aspects of the person, but also the part of her that gets angry, that can rage, that is vulnerable, that can fall, that can sin. So if you only just keep fixating and allowing yourself to see the good in the person, you're not actually accepting the person fully for who he is. And the propensity to worship in you, which that should be directed to like the real saints, or to God, to Jesus, to Mother Mary, that propensity is now wasted in this so-called simulacrum, which is this false image, this true image of a person, but just that person isn't able to match up with it at this moment. Hope that's not too complex. Okay, so now let's talk about true love. Okay, St. Thomas Aquinas defines it as willing the good of the other as other, which means that you, like I cook a delicious meal for you. I want you to eat it and you get nourished by it. And I don't need anything back from you. I can just really leave that meal at your door and you don't know who I am. But I just willing the good of you for your sake. I'm not like trying to store up brownie points so I can claim it back next time when I'm hungry. I can come and claim my free meal from you. You know what I mean? So then that is not true love. That is more like a form of transaction, trying to benefit myself by benefiting you first. Like storing excess food in other people so that you can claim that for favor from them back. So that's not true love. So if I use that definition, then true love has a more aspect of the action focused thing. Like I keep doing the correct actions that is to will your good every day, and that is loving you. My feelings about you can shift from maybe intense love to disgust, hatred. It shifts around every day based on the triggers and my own vulnerabilities. But as long as I'm able to contain it and to still do the actions that is willing your good, that's true love. Okay, I give you an example. For example, I have a son whom I love. Sometimes he does irritating things. I'm annoyed with him, alright? But every day I still make sure that he has healthy food to eat, his clothes are clean, someone is checking his homework, make his bag, pack his bag properly, have a lunch box, kiss him before going to school, pray with him. He grows up and he prospers and flourishes in a way. My feelings can waver based on my daily mood and what he's doing to irritate me that day. Is he trampling over my toes? And all that. It can irritate me. But as long as I continue to be able to do what is good for him, I can proudly say that I do love him. So that can also be applied to spousal relationships, friendships, and all that. Okay, so there's this video by Fulton Sheen. Archbishop Fulton Sheen is really good. It's really old, but it's a couple of decades old. But it's really good. It's talking about, like, he had this quote inside that I really love it. Like, the modern person is bizarre. He judges his love based on his feelings, something like that. And he had this whiteboard where he will draw like the traditional versus the modern world at his time, like I think the 1960s, 1970s. And he got it spot on. In a way, we're asking the wrong questions. Some people like I've heard people saying, like, the fact that I cheated on my husband, it means that perhaps the feeling wasn't strong at all and the marriage wasn't stable and was doomed to fail. So that is like putting the horse before the cart. Okay, the correct way to think about it is the fact that you cheated on your husband, that is an unloving action. But if you could stop and keep yourself chaste and committed to your one husband, then you will get back to loving him again. And doesn't matter, your marriage could be on the rocks and all that. If you continue to do loving actions, keep yourself faithful to your spouse, generally there's still hope for the marriage. But if your marriage is on the rocks, let's say your marriage is going through a hard time, but you allow yourself to just go outside and fall in love with other people and have multiple affairs and all that, that is not very loving. And it also so-called is like okay, imagine your marriage is like an extra entity. It's really in quite a bad shape. You're just like feeding it more poison, which is a bad thing. It's probably not going to last. But if you are able to hold on to that sick baby, which is the relationship, and to still persevere in doing the loving things, you will get over that hump, and then you can continue living life and having that marriage. It will go up and down. You just ride the tides until it's time to die. Okay, until the end of one of your life, to death to us part, right? Okay, so that is a better way to look at it. Okay, talk about limerence, the pros and cons. Okay, so the cons, let's talk about the cons first, because I wanted to end on a good note. Okay, the cons is when you idealize a person, you don't have empathy for that person. For example, if you idealize a person, then you imagine this person is the most perfect person, right? The most patient, the kindest, the most forgiving, most compassionate person. Hence, since the person is so fabulous and so fantastic, there's no need to hold back. You just unleash all your rage, all your weird vices on them, like turn out super late, be super rude to them, and expect that they will forgive you and love you and be so patient, because they are perfect, right? They are saints, right? They're idealized, right? And you just keep doing that, and it's just generally not very healthy for the relationship. And like because I'm a counselor, it's very normal for clients to sometimes idealize me. So I'm on the receiving end of that. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I know what's going on, so that actually helps me to feel a bit better. But there's this dark side of me that also sometimes like, oh gosh, why are you so late again? Or why you refuse to pay the fees? And when you have crisis, after owing me $700, you still come back and expect me to accept you, which sometimes I still do with a lot of effort, trying to push against the grain, okay? But the point is, don't do that. You have to have empathy for that person. Is the person you're idolizing also has a dark side, or at the very least a selfish side who needs to pay the bills and make ends meet. So pay your bills and come on time. Okay. And also the other con about it is that you may not be, in limerence, you may not be loving the person, which is like, you don't care if the person is doing well, has enough money to pay the rent, to buy his food, or she's just coughing. Is she healthy? She's doing well. Instead, you love the idea of that person and the idea of taking from that person, whether it is a form of comfort, of support. Just keep taking and taking and taking and taking. The idea of reciprocal, like I give, I take, and we get to know each other truly, is not truly there. Which leads to the third con, which is that sometimes I think a part of us know that the person that we are having limerence on is really not as perfect as we imagined. Hence, but yet the temptation to keep the idealized image in our head, maybe like I told you, a simulacrum of what the divine should be, occupying that space, right? Now you want to put that person here. So the only way to keep him idealized is to keep a distance from him. So when you have an opportunity to truly get to know that person and to maybe get exposed to his or her flaws, you might push that person away just to continue having the idealized image. So that person may actually sense the limerence going on and want to actually have a friendship or a relationship with you, but you're pushing the person away. So in a way, to maintain limerence is to be avoidant, which is unhealthy, because isn't it better to have a true relationship? You all can talk person to person as two human beings struggling with life, rather than you hero worshipping that person, the person trying her best to be patient. I think that's not too healthy, don't you think? Okay. Now let's end on a good note, right? The pros of limerence. So I always thought about this. I've thought about this for a long time. Like I noticed, I hate this part that I'm about to say, because it talks about labels, and labels I don't really agree with at this point in my life, but I'm just going to do it with that preamble. So people with borderline personality disorder tend to have this propensity to have limerence. They tend to like to worship their object of adoration at that moment. So limerence is very strong. But at the same time, when it is the strongest and when they do everything they can to love and protect or to idealize that person in their head, I feel that the borderlines are the most, almost like a religious ability. They have the ability to get into that headspace of worship much more than any one of us. or other people, they truly capture the essence of what worship is, which is to look at something in utter awe. Alright? The only problem is that this ability to worship and to idolize and to put someone on a pedestal is given to something that's not fitting, which is the object of adoration, another human being, another created creature who's not a saint. Okay? It is great if you could redirect that energy to help them worship something that is more deserving and more fitting to be worshipped, like God, Jesus, Mother Mary, or any of the saints. They can pick their own saint, rather than that human being that's very fallible. Okay, so limerence versus true love. I hope that this video has been helpful. And okay, maybe I should just give one sentence to summarize. Is limerence pathological? Yes and no. It's like I mentioned all the cons, right? You idolize the person, you love the idea of the person rather than the person himself. You lack empathy for that person, tend to push that person away when the person tries to approach you. So there is no chance of having a true relationship. All these are the bad things which you could say is pathological. But it also helps you to be in a space where you can truly worship something, which is actually really lacking these days, if you understand it. Like this ability to look at anything with reverence, even let's say the Eucharist, is actually quite lost in our modern culture. So, but these people, they have it. They can worship a human being. If this is directed properly, they can also definitely worship something that is truly fitting for their worship, which is God and Mother Mary, all the saints. Okay, so that's all for today's video. I hope that it's been helpful for you. And if you have spare time, please spend some time praying for me and my newborn son, and my elder son who is coping with being a big brother, and my husband who has been so helpful throughout the whole process, through the labor all the way to being a new dad again. So pray for our family. Also pray for my helper who is surviving all my quirks and stuff. Like, it's not easy to live with me. So pray for all of us if you have time, okay? Yeah, thank you so much, and God bless.